What's up guys, Hades here. So I recently updated the tier list and I wanted to review a team that really kind of caught my attention this last week. It's WV. There was some crazy numbers thrown out in this match. They reversed TYT, and when you look at the stats, these are some of the biggest numbers I've ever seen. Honestly, kind of unbelievable. It must have been a very close match, but I want to investigate what happened. I kind of want to follow around Ghostface because this is one of the biggest Battlefield contributions I've ever seen, and just kind of figure out what happened, and there'll probably be some learning experiences. So let's jump into it. Alright, jumping into it, we have a pretty neutral match, 23-22, and the small amount of players makes a lot of sense because if it's 30 versus 30, you're going to get ported around a lot. But in smaller skirmishes, 5 versus 6, you can last a while, take more time, be a little more patient, get more points. And I noticed Ghostface is up here at the top, kind of by himself, and he's just not taking damage. I'm gonna probably run a lot of this 4x. The result doesn't really matter. I'm just curious as to what happened. How did this get so out of control? The first thing I'm seeing is these players are hitting him with solo attacks, and he's defending most of them. Like, he took one hit there, but defend, right? The only way you're ever gonna get over a million usually is if you're using gems, using speed ups, and you're being aggressive, and you're in the fight all the time. To get over a million, you have to be focused. And clearly he's being focused, but he had a really good relocation. But interestingly enough, that his teammates aren't really defending him. I go over this a lot. There's this big blank space here and here, and he's actually defending solo, which makes me believe that the enemy team, TYT, just wasn't putting any pressure on him in terms of rallies. Now, most teams, or most units can't defend a rally, as an example there, but he gets a counter attack, and you can see that he's actually just a solid player. I like finding these matches where we can find new great players. Against weaker teams, of course, it's pretty easy to score points, but this TYT team, which is Tongue Twister, also put up some really big numbers, and we can see the coordination just isn't quite there. They had a numbers advantage, they went for an all-in, they lost the all-in, so it's a pretty decent level match. These teams are in my kind of D tier. I think they have great players, but they're really struggling with participation, as you can see with the 23 players. A few, small errors here and there, so not the highest of caliber, but these teams are going to beat almost everyone that's not in that top echelon of teams. And you can see here he's getting low, but he hasn't quite been ported yet. I just want to make sure I know what he is playing with. Oh, attack, there he is. And Choba first. So he has attack. It looks like he's gonna get ported, maybe he doesn't, but I'm assuming he's gonna get ported and then teleport from the base and just keep his uptime really high. Looked like he defended a rally there. That might have been an error, but he's definitely using some sort of fantastic march, or maybe the enemies just aren't using very strong marches. However you slice it, this is one of those anomaly games, those dream games you get where everything plays out perfectly exactly how you intended it to. Yeah, let's look at the macro of this game real quick. TYT is building up a force here. No one has occupied the middle, but WV is like in their faces. I'm not a big fan of these really super aggressive, everyone's one unit away from you. You can see here, everyone can just send a solo. You're gonna run out of troops, you're gonna die very quickly. And everyone can just rally you, and he's losing HP very quickly. Not a wise decision. The bottom tower still hasn't been taken. I believe both these teams are light on supports. 2 supports. 2 supports. Yeah, 2 supports is very low. I would say 3 minimum, bottom, middle, and top. And that's probably not enough. TYT is only with 2 at home. And WV only one at home, but they have a lot of players in the base, so they should be able to defend their home quite easily. There's still this just disjointed inability to lock down. There's players in the back, there's players still off to the side, and this still hasn't been like solidified as theirs. They do own the tower, but it just feels risky because this player's low, burning, one hit, half HP, burning. And you know, you need to hold a tower and gain some points if you want to win a match. It's very strange to see only the home towers and the top taken at 38 minutes, so the bottom's really been here for 22 minutes still untaken. That's just poor coordination, really. There's definitely been 1, 2, or 3 moments within the match to capture it, but this is how they're just collecting points. Everyone's being extremely aggressive, everyone's having tons of uptime, and it seems pretty neutral, very even in a lot of ways. So that's where I'm assuming a lot of the points have been accumulated. You can see a nice force being gathered up in the middle, and WV is really making a solid counter here because they have finally solidified their top. They have 7 players here, and now they have too many players and they need to rotate out, and they do have a couple rotating to the middle because they need to deny the middle. TYT is going for an occupation with the support. I'm not sure if they'll get it. This is my first watch, and no, unsuccessful. Just too much gaps. Talk about this all the time. You need to have proximity or location, right? There's 2 really juicy locations here and here that should be filled in by these back players, hopefully in the next few minutes. Quite a large counterattack at the tower 2. 4 versus 2. They should never really get this. I don't even know why they would go there unless they're actually planning to get more there. WV hasn't even considered a backdoor. They probably should have. 1 player is not enough to defend. Big weak link. You don't need to fight for the center when they have so few in the back. The amount of players who have rotated into their bases is very high, and I think this is probably one of the big moments of the match. You can kind of see when we came back here and you look at, I'm just looking at the base in the minimap, there's so many that go into the base and then they're just free to go. They're always leaving the base, which means the relocation cancels just haven't been very strong. Which just again shows that their rating really does make sense, and they just have some of the fundamentals to work on. Going a little further in the match, we can see here WV did end up capturing the middle. Here's Ghostface again, full HP. I wonder if he teleported here. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, right there, he teleported. So he's in there, he's had tons of uptime. He went from center, finally got teleported, back to full HP, TP's back in the middle, full uptime. You want to watch him just a little bit, and you can see everyone's focusing him. There's 4 lines. Oh no, those are his lines. He's just being hyper aggressive with 4 marches, I guess, which is very interesting to have so many useful marches. Maybe he's just finding value in chip damage with small marches and just being hyper aggressive. He's sending 2 out while sending a rally. Just super annoying, super aggressive. At this stage of the game, you can have 2 maxed mains with all your points, and you can actually have a 3rd nearly maxed, or if you're creative enough and use some of the green and blue skills, you can have them maxed or very close to maxed, and provide some damage or at least some rally pressure. So tons of uptime, 3 attacks at the same time. Very interesting play style, and I'm just surprised no one on the enemy team is trying to counter, right? There's always a way to beat this. If he's sending 3 marches out, that means he's not being defended, so you can send a counter match, right? A counter march in the same time that he hits, and then you get a free hit because he has nothing to defend, which is a very simple tactic, and I'm actually going to break it down just a bit right here. right here. So he has a rally going and 2 marches going. Any of these players can just time when he's doing it as soon as they notice he's being over aggressive and just send him a solo. It doesn't even have to be your main because there's nothing here. There's nothing left. The only thing left in his castle is the 4th march, which doesn't have skills. So there should be counterplay on hyper aggression like this. This is why that 2.5 million is so rare, is this the enemy team is not countering what they're doing. And attack is an interesting skill because there's no defense behind it, right? You can't bubble, you can't reborn. When you're gone, you're gone. So it's a double-edged sword. It's one of the best up times because you have that teleport ability, letting him get directly in the action without getting stopped. But the flip side is when you take damage, it's permanent, right? You can't heal, can't bubble, can't reborn. And I think TYT didn't quite manage this hyper aggression. They really needed to do counterattacks, and that's pretty much the name of the game. Looking forward just to kind of get a scan of the game. The score was so low because the middle and bottom were just not taken for so long. But WV has had a significant point lead for quite a while. They still own the center. They actually made a counterattack at that enemy home, and they're owning the bottom. TY definitely made a nice little counter here, but 5 versus 2 isn't going to hold for very long, and they're still down 20,000 points. But the whole point of this game was to kind of follow some of these high point players and really see what's happening, and just kind of be in awe of things that happen like this. This is a rare event. I hope you guys can find a moment to be this powerful. It takes a strong player with good game sense. It takes strong builds, which you have to work on and improve each and every week. And it's fun to find new players who kind of show themselves to being strong. But if you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.